Good morning. It's a rainy, dreary day in Tennessee. Last week it was so pretty and the sunshine was coming in the office, but we need both the sunshine and the rain. Today I want to switch gears a little bit. We've been talking about women of faith, but I want to give you some examples. Maybe not in current time frame with us, but some people we may be familiar with. How often do you and I sing familiar hymns without thinking, without pondering their deep meaning, because we learned the words years ago as a child or when we first came to know the Lord? But today I want us to do just that. I want us to ponder. And then I want us to choose to remember whenever we hear or whenever we sing familiar hymns, to not just sing, but to really process the words that we're saying. So I want us to think today about John Newton. It took a person like John Newton to write the hymn, Amazing Grace. He says, "Let me not fail to praise that grace that could pardon such sins as mine." So listen to verse 1 and 2. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Newton was only 11 when he went to sea as an apprentice on his father's ship. He spent his teen years learning to be profane and irreligious and indulgent. Female slaves were being transported from Africa and were at Newton's disposal. And even seasoned sailors were alarmed at his corruption. His life angered his father and disgusted his friends, and he was finally pressed into the service of the British Navy. He deserted, but he was arrested, stripped, and flogged, and he became the property of a slave trader in Sierra Leone, who gave him to his sadistic mistress. John became a loathsome toy that she tormented over a year. He finally boarded a boat back for Britain, and on March the 9th, as he carelessly read a Christian book to pass the time, a thought came to him. What if these things are really true? He snapped that book closed and shook off that question. He writes, "I went to bed in my usual indifference, but was awakened by a violent sea which broke on us. Much of it came down below and filled the cabin where I lay. This alarm was followed by a cry that the ship was going down. We had immediate recourse to the pumps, but the water increased against our efforts. Almost every passing wave broke over my head. I expected that every time the vessel descended into the sea, she would rise no more. I dreaded death now, and my heart foreboded the worst. If the scriptures, which I had long since opposed, were true." That vessel survived that March 10th, 1748 storm, and Newton began to earnestly study the Bible. He embraced Christ, and he eventually entered the ministry, becoming one of England's best-loved preachers and a leader in the fight against slavery. He once recalled, That 10th of March is a day much remembered by me, and I have never suffered to pass it unnoticed since the year 1748. The Lord came from on high and delivered me out of the deep waters. How does he finish Amazing Grace? Verse 3 through 5 read, "The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun." That's John Newton's testimony. But you and I have a testimony, and we too have to share it. We may not share it in a song that's sung for years and years and years, but we can share it with our friends and neighbors. Have a great day.